Good morning. Welcome back to another day of our Positivity Project Character Strength of the Week of Humility. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. Please repeat after me as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the past 2 days, we've been working on what humility is. So, a quick recap is that the humility is the quality of being humble, and humble means having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance, which means that you don't seek the spotlight and you let your actions speak for themselves. Individuals of humility are likely to think, feel, or behave in the following ways. They give credit where credit is due. All achievements take a team effort, meaning that not one person on the team is taking credit of um, the whole project. They are saying that everyone contributed to it. It wasn't just one person's project; it was the whole team's project that they all worked together towards. Second one is do what's expected of you and don't overly gloat about it. Meaning, don't make it seem like you're purposely showing off. If you were asked to do something, then complete it. Don't speak about how great of a job you did. Let those compliments come from other people. That's going to make you feel much more better once everyone starts noticing what a great job you did instead of you purposely saying that you did a great job. Let other people compliment you first. The two quotes I chose for today for humility are: "A true genius admits that he or she knows nothing." If that takes a lot of you have to be brave and you have to be prideful of yourself to simply admit that. If you say you know something and then when you say you know something but you really don't when you're trying to impress someone, that might come back to haunt you. It might get you in a sticky situation where you don't want to be in. Meanwhile, you could have just been honest and said you don't really know anything about that topic and you're more than willing to learn about it. The second one is it is unwise to be too sure of one's own wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest might err. What he means by err, the ERR, that means error. So e- everyone makes mistakes. Regardless of how smart you are, they're bound to have a mistake. For example, with science, it's all about trial and error. You're not going to have a great experiment. You might have the wisest scientists on your team, but there are going to be times when the experiment doesn't go right. That's called trial and error. You try it, you see where it messed up, and you try to fix it, and you keep going back and back to try to improve it. Today's clip for humility is from the Oprah Winfrey Show, and she's interviewing Nelson Mandela, who Oprah describes as the most humble man she has ever met.
How does a man spend 27 years in prison, put there by an oppressor, and come out of that experience with not a heart of stone, not a cold heart, but a heart that is willing to forgive and embrace? How is there no bitterness?
Well, I hated oppression. And when I think about the past, the type of things they did, I feel angry. You have a limited time to stay on earth. You must try and use that period for the purpose of transforming your country into what you desire it to be. And therefore, you had to reject all negative features in your own soul, in your blood system, and focus your attention on the positive things. I wanted to be known as Mandela, a man with weaknesses, especially because I knew it was not the contribution of an individual which would bring about liberation and the peaceful transformation of the country. And my first task when I came out was to destroy that myth that I was something other than an ordinary human being.
I had said that you're one of the most humble person I'd ever met. I will tell you that when Mr. Mandela arrived today, he said to the producer, met with him in the room, and he said, "What is the subject of today's show?" And she said, "Nelson Mandela, you are the subject of today's show." He goes, "Oh, all right." You are not modest, but a very humble man. I wanted to ask, because I think that is the characteristic that stands out for you above all of them, that you are a peacemaker inside yourself. And how do we begin, those of us who aren't leading countries but are just leading our own lives, leading our families, come to a sense of truth and reconciliation with ourselves to be a peacemaker? How do you do that?
The first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. And one of the most important weapons in changing yourself is to recognize that peace. People everywhere in the world want peace. But humility is one of the most important qualities which you must have. Because if you are humble, if you make people realize that you are no threat to them, then people will embrace you.
Okay, so basically a recap of who Nelson Mandela is. Nelson Mandela is known for being the first African American president of South America from 1994 to 1999. And besides being the first African American president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela was faced with the challenge of being the first president to transition South Africa from the apartheid system to a multicultural democracy system. Oprah points out that when Nelson Mandela arrived, he asked the producer what the subject of the show would be, and the producer replied with, "You're the subject, Nelson Mandela." This goes to show that Mandela didn't let all his accomplishments get to his head. He felt like a normal person and wanted to be treated as such. Also, another important thing from this interview, that Nelson Mandela spoke about that he was wrongly imprisoned for about, I think it was 27 years. And he came out of the prison not wanting revenge. He wanted to move on with his life. He wanted to leave that part of his life behind him. And he wanted to catch up on all that he missed with and just spread positivity and peace. 2 reflection activities that I have for you all today is, how does it feel when someone doesn't show humility? Second one is, humility is shown in lots of different ways, sometimes by understanding that everyone makes mistakes. Why is this important to remember for yourself and others? Twitter challenge is to have your parents tweet us ways to be humble to our Twitter account at Lockhart Lions. Once we receive them, we could retweet it and post it on our page. Lastly, remember that Lockhart Lions roar. Have a great day, everyone.